In this video, I want to share the progress that I've made on my portrait drawing. So I've been trying to get better at portrait drawing, specifically to get into tattooing. I just want to build up a decent sized portfolio so that I have a lot to show people in terms of what kind of skill level that I'm working with. And I was told that I should probably look into buying a tattoo gun and start already practicing on fake skin or even on myself, just to really get accustomed to it so that I'll have even more ability by the time I do end up finding something, so they don't have to teach me from scratch. So originally I thought that wasn't allowed in the culture, but I guess other people believe that it's okay, and that I should at least get myself familiar with the whole process if I want to get into it. So I think I'm going to do that once I can afford to invest in a tattoo gun. I'm definitely going to do that. But right now, I want to show you guys the progress that I've made in drawing portraits. And this progress is from 2018 to 2019, probably around the beginning of 2018. And I've been experimenting with both digital painting and drawing with pencil crayon and just a mechanical pencil. And originally, I was trying to get better at digital painting, but now since my area of focus has shifted, I really want to get better at drawing from actual paper and pencil. But I'm still doing the digital art stuff, but I figured that I should do most or both of them just to get more well-rounded. And so I'll get into my progress pictures. So the first two ones I want to show are actual digital paintings, but they're me mixing the human figure with geometry, specifically from Grabado and ZBrush, ZBrush array meshing. I'm trying to get better at blending the specific geometry. So for the first one, this is a girl clown type lady with some geometry coming out of her. I wanted to really get some experience trying to blend it well and trying to get different contrasts and transitions to be really smooth and fluid, like the people that I've admired in their art and how they do it. It's a pretty difficult thing to get down right, so I wanted to keep practicing at it. And then this one is a centaur that I've been also working on, and this one's actually with mostly just ZBrush array meshing. Since I wanted to get better at ZBrush array meshing, I figured that this would be a good practice piece. And the next one is a digital painting of just a girl's face. This one was from a study that I was doing, and this was just to get better at more realistic details. I didn't end up finishing the hair, I just got down the face, and then I wanted to move on to something else. And then this one was from a specific reference, and for this reference, I traced the outline and then I did the actual digital painting over it. So the proportions were really good in terms of just being able to trace it. I started off tracing the outlines so that I can get the proportions really solid, so that I didn't have to worry about it also being unproportional. And I think it gave me a lot of good practice in being able to eventually move away from actually tracing out the outline and actually doing it from eventually freehand. And then this next one is a Selena Gomez drawing on pencil and paper. And for this one, I also traced the outline, and then I just did the shading from the reference picture and whatnot. So this one turned out pretty good just because I didn't have to worry about the proportions, and I could just focus on getting the values right. And this next one is a Harley Quinn drawing, and this one was actually in pencil crayon, the Crayola pencil crayons. This one I used a different technique. I used the grid technique, and the grid technique is basically you just draw out a grid and then you match it up with the reference picture. So this one turned out pretty nice and proportional. I don't like using the grid method anymore just because it takes too much time, and it's just a waste for spending an extra 4 hours trying to get a grid down when I can just start drawing right away. So these next ones are when I started to actually use just freehanding. And for the freehanding method, I use Nathan Folk's face mapping technique, which is basically while you're freehanding, you start off with the basic geometry of the face, and then you sort of start blocking in the details piece by piece. Usually start with the eyes. So this one is Robert Downey Jr., and this one turned out pretty decently. I'm still getting better at trying to eye out proportions right. Just even a little bit off on proportions can make things go out of whack. So it's very difficult to keep working towards trying to get that perfect, flawless proportion, but I'm definitely working towards it. And then this next one is one that I finished actually last night, and this one is Ariana Grande. And again, this one was drawn by freehand using Nathan Folk's face mapping technique. And this one turned out pretty decently. I think that the proportions could be a little bit more accurate, but other than that, it turned out all right. For these paintings, for these drawings, I've gotten feedback from Reddit Art, and they've told me the value work is good. All I have to do is just keep working at the proportions, and hopefully I will be able to get a really solid portrait from just freehanding. So that's been my goal, is trying to freehand it. I'm good at tracing them, and it'll turn out good, but what I really want to get good at is actually just freehanding and being able to draw anyone's portrait just out of anywhere without having to get a reference picture and trace it, or even use a grid system. So that's pretty much the progress that I've made so far. I'm going to keep working at it, and eventually I do want to maybe get into doing commission portraits. I'm not sure if anyone would want to reach out to me now to do it, since I guess I'm still learning, but eventually in the future I'd definitely be open for that. Someone actually on the Reddit thing was saying that they wanted me to draw them, but they couldn't afford it, thinking that I was already a commission portrait maker. But who knows, maybe down the line I could be. I'm definitely getting rapidly better at my craft, so I believe that the next portrait that I make is really going to be a solid piece of work. And should also mention that usually on my channel, I don't tend to advertise any of the things that help me monetize my channel. I do have a Redbubble account, and I also have a Patreon account, but I tend not to advertise that other than just leaving a description or a link in the description, just because I'm very careful about not wanting to shill to my audience. But on the other end, people have been telling me that I really need to be able to start making a career out of the things that I've cultivated, and they think that I have a bit of a low self-esteem on not really advertising myself and not really putting myself out there in terms of being able to make claim of my worth, and actually request people to, if they are able to, consider investing into my channel to help me grow, to help me get better equipment, and to help make me produce more videos, because this is definitely what I want my career to be. On top of the tattoo artist stuff, I want to be making specifically psychedelic tattoos, and I want to be able to advertise that and have people end up coming to me to get really wicked designs and really tryptamine based inspired psychedelic work and sleeves and all of that. Like, that's what my goal has been. But to really reach that goal and to be able to order the tattoo guns, I need to be able to monetize what I've been cultivating, and just getting AdSense isn't really much of a help for me. So I definitely would appreciate if anyone's able to, if they really like my content, to maybe consider supporting me in any way, either Patreon or getting merch from my Redbubble account and everything. I'm gonna look into possibly doing another avenue of merchandise stuff. I'm also going to be doing 3D printing of specific designs that I make in ZBrush, because my brother has a lot of 3D printers because he's in that kind of work, so I can definitely make a lot of cool products that I really want to end up selling. And that could be on Etsy or even my own website. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.